So you are 1 week into your no buy challenge and you've already had an oopsie. And you might be thinking things like, maybe this challenge just isn't for you. You already failed. And I mean, hey, at least you tried, right? Give yourself more credit than that. This challenge isn't called the easy no buy or the no spend, no problem challenge. Not buying clothes, shoes, electronics, things for our kids that we're used to buying is really freaking hard. So after watching this video, you're going to be better prepared for your round 2 of the no buy challenge. You are going to have new ideas, new knowledge, and most importantly, new inspiration, because guess what we are allowed to do? Start fresh. And real quick, in case you're new, welcome. I am Jen. I am your personal no buy challenge expert. I am starting year 5 of this challenge, and you could say that I have a special love for the no buy, mostly because this is what got us out of debt and continues to keep us out of debt. So if I can rub off on you just a little bit, you will be successful doing the no buy challenge. And guess what your self-proclaimed expert did last year on January 1st, 2024? I broke my very own #1 no buy rule of no takeout. And I literally did it the second I opened my eyes. I ordered breakfast because I wasn't feeling too hot on New Year's Day. So if somebody who already knows what to expect, has been doing this challenge for years, and is already pretty dang good at not spending, that person was unsuccessful on day 1. How is a newbie like you expected to get through this challenge without messing up? You can't. In fact, you won't. So why would anybody even bother? Because no matter how good we are at doing anything, you know what not one of us will ever be? That's right, perfect. As I said, this is a really hard challenge. So if you messed up too, you're gonna chill out, you're gonna give yourself some grace, and let's talk about how we're gonna reset and do things differently, because you deserve to be debt-free too. In fact, we all do. Okay, so what is a no buy, or some people call them a low buy or a no spend challenge? It's you deciding to change your spending habits. That's it. And why would you do a no spend? Well, is there really ever a bad reason for wanting to save your money? I didn't think so either. And there's 2 basic ways that you can go about doing the challenge, and I'm going to tell you about both of those so that you can pick which one would be right for you, because of course we all don't have the same spending problems, issues, patterns, whatever you want to call them, right? So let's go see what they are. Okay, so the first way to do a no buy challenge is what we call the all in. And this one is where you are only going to be spending money on your absolute essentials. And by essentials, we mean that it is absolutely necessary in order to keep your 4 walls around your body. And that would be things like your housing, your electric, your water, your utilities, right? You need those. You would need things like your groceries. Yes, of course, we have to eat, even if we're on a no buy challenge. And you will also need transportation, right? You're going to need to continue to make your car payment. You're going to need to put gas in it. You're going to need to pay the insurance because you got to get to work. Okay, and then we've got things like medications, childcare, your phone bill. These are all obviously things that no one can live without. So basically, if you're going to be doing the all-in version of the no buy challenge, what I want you to do is pretend like you just lost your income. How would you spend your money then? Okay, do that. So the essentials only is the all-in no buy challenge. And side note, this is the one that I did the very first time. Somebody learned real quick doing this one. Now, the second way to do the no buy challenge is where you would make your own challenge. With this way, you are going to be making your own rules, and this is what I'm doing now. I am on a never-ending no-buy challenge at this point, and I have my own rules, or should I say rule, and that is if it isn't previously budgeted for, I consider that an impulse purchase, which is a spend day for me. And I would mark my annual calendar that way with a red dot. These red dots are all of my impulse purchases. The definition of impulse is sudden, involuntary inclination prompting to action. And that's what this is, and this, and this. I did not plan ahead for any of them. That money was not earmarked prior for that specific item, period. And maybe that sounds bizarre to you, but you know what sounds really bizarre to me now? Not when I first started this, but now. Working really hard for a paycheck and then spending it on things that I didn't even have a thought about or even know existed until in that moment when I was purchasing it. And then because of those things, I had to keep track of like 30 payments to different banks, loan institutions, credit card companies, and then make my monthly tribute payments in order to continue to be able to buy the items. Yeah, no thanks. I'd rather not buy the items and just keep my money. And now I do. So let's get you to the point where you are also not buying the things so that you can keep your money too. And we just want you to be moving in that direction, right? Just making progress, because that's what actually counts, not perfection. And by the way, I should probably mention that the advice I'm giving in this video is not so you can follow it for a short-term trend and then 30 days from now, just go right back to the way that you've always been spending. I'm not really sure what the point of that would be anyway. We didn't get into this debt in 30 days, and we're not going to be able to get out of it in 30 days. This is to show you that with consistency, determination, and hard work, you will have an entirely new financial circumstance for you and your family. This stretches way beyond a popular 30-day social media challenge. Now, this one got me going and gave me a lot of insight into my spending habits, and then this one is just keeping me from going back to where I was before. This is all an absolute habit for me now, as you can see. And the best part for my husband too. In the beginning, a very reluctant husband. Yeah, we will come back to him later. So for the all-in, I feel like this one is pretty black and white. Yeah, necessities only, go without, find substitutions, trade, barter. You're basically in maniac mode where no is your new favorite word. And that's what it is. I mean, didn't saying yes to everything cause this problem in the first place? So we do the opposite now and say no to get out of it. And I think that a good candidate for the all-in way of doing the no-buy challenge are the ones that are just so over themselves and their spending, their low checking account balance, the overwhelming debt, the never-ending struggle. This is where I was. I was actually looking forward to saying no to myself. But what if you are not and you're like, no, Jen, I like buying stuff. I feel really good when I treat myself. Okay, so what about this way of looking at it? How do you feel about finding websites, entering logins, remembering passwords, dealing with multiple step verification processes where you have to go get your phone in order to find a code that they sent you? To do what now? Oh yeah, after all that, I completely forgot. Pay your bill. So now you get to waste your time and your energy, more of your valuable assets, in order to pay again and again and again. Every month to be exact, for the item that you considered as treating yourself. Oh, you have yours set up on auto pay? You're much too smart to do all that nonsense. You'll just give them free and never-ending access to your account so they get to decide and take at will whatever amount they want. Yes, that's much better. Why are we so accepting of this repetitious process? Why do we continue to purchase more when we don't even truly own what we already have? What if we just temporarily stop buying the things so that we can start to pay off all of the things that we already purchased? So once I personally realized all of this, I started with that first 30 days. And once I saw how much money I was able to save, I did it again for another 30 days. And this was just to really set this way of doing things into my brain. So the all-in way, the essentials only, can absolutely be done by a beginner. It is very difficult, but not impossible. So you would want to focus on the pros of doing the all-in challenge. And that is that you are going to learn your triggers, your spending triggers, a lot faster. And doing it this way is by far the biggest money saver. So keep that in mind when you are deciding if you want to do it the all-in way or the make your own rules way. And if you're going to make up your own rules, I do not mean to set it up in a way where you're not going to feel any hurt or any struggle, because obviously you're not going to learn about yourself doing it that way. But instead, you'll want to go ahead and focus on what you do know about your spending habits and have your rules work around that, as opposed to just coming in with this all-encompassing way of telling yourself no. And then taking these bite-sized pieces will probably make the challenge a little bit more digestible for you overall. So just remember that you don't have to be all in or all out with this challenge in order to be doing it. So you most likely know where you have a certain spending problem, where you feel like you just blow your money and you really wish that you would do better moving forward. Then you would make your rule specifically for that. For example, no Amazon unless it's for my business. I'm not going to buy beauty products unless I run out of something. I'm a weekend spender, so I'm going to stay home 3 out of the 4 next weekends and learn how to change up how I spend my time off. You could also give yourself spending limits as one of your rules. Say you have been spending around $100 a week on takeout. You could start off by making a rule that you will now only spend $50 a week. Just cut the typical spending amounts down, because guess what? You're still saving money and you're challenging yourself. You're learning to get a little bit uncomfortable, and that's a start. So the difference here is you're not coming in hot with just this one strict rule of no. You're picking 1 or 2 areas that you want to cut back on and make those your first 30-day rules and start there. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the timeline. This is where most people want to know, like, how long do I have to do this for, right? Well, how do I say this without completely losing you? You're going to want to do this forever. I say things like your first 30 days because you are going to have another and another and another 30 days. You will switch up your rules and make some adjustments as you go, but you don't stop. If we are in this for the reasons of changing habits, paying off debt, having an emergency fund, jumping off of the hamster wheel, there is no end to doing this. And before you get completely scared, don't worry, because after a while, you aren't on a challenge anymore. You aren't making rules for your spending. You don't have to anymore. You have trained your mind to do something new. I used to say in my older videos, do a week or just try a weekend and see how you do. My mindset on that has completely changed. I don't think that working less than 30 days on any habit modification that you want to do is going to put a dent in your turnaround. You need at least a full 30 days to start. It's just like rehab. They have you for 30 days minimum. They let you out, but you still have to do the work. You don't get out and just stop. The old habits are always there waiting for you. Don't let them win. And I hear a lot of people say, plan this for a time that makes sense for you. Don't do it on a month where you have a lot of birthdays or when you have a vacation coming up or when the kids are home from school in the summer. I mean, come on. If we did it that way, we could easily find an excuse to never begin any challenge that we know is going to prove to be difficult. Set your rules for your specific time period. That's all you need to do. And those rules are what is going to help you change your spending habits. Not setting yourself up with perfect conditions, because we learn when we hurt, when things are hard, when a struggle has occurred, and we found a way to get through it. So just take a look at your calendar. If you have birthdays coming up, an anniversary, anything like that, just budget them, set a spending limit, and stick to it. I will use myself as a perfect example. The month of December is completely loaded for me. I have my mother-in-law's birthday, my son's birthday, my husband's birthday is 5 days before Christmas, and then obviously we have Christmas. I set a specific amount for each person. I stuck to that amount, and I just kept doing my no spend challenge. I do really think that if you wait for the perfect time, how will you ever be able to learn to adjust your spending according to real life scenarios? You wouldn't, because there's always going to be something coming up. If you think about it, every month is different. October has Halloween, November has Thanksgiving, December has Christmas, February has Valentine's Day. Every single month has something different going on. And I hope that you guys see it is purposely designed that way to keep us spending, constantly spending on something or someone that was deemed a holiday or day. And that is why just deciding to do a no spend challenge and rolling with it is the best way to do it. Just start and let your life happen. Make the decisions along the way that you need to. This time they will be new decisions, your decisions. And the other thing that I hear a lot is people like to say, you are depriving yourself. And that's just going to make you want to binge later on. Okay, so I just want to clarify. Challenge equals deprivation. Why? Why don't we think about struggle equals progress? Overcoming equals satisfaction. Overcoming struggle will enhance your resilience, allowing you to bounce back from any setback, and then you'll be able to handle future challenges better. Everything the modern world promotes is about convenience. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. If you go in with this mindset of, oh my God, this no spend challenge is totally going to suck, guess what? It's totally going to suck. Instead, think to yourself, I cannot wait to see how much money I save while I'm on this challenge. And side note, you will save money. So get excited about it. Your language and what you say to yourself is very powerful. This is not deprivation, it's an opportunity to grow. And I just want to let you guys know that when I was in the process of paying off all of my debt, I always had a lot of viewers here on the channel ask me, Jen, where does the money come from? Like, where was I getting all of this extra money to send to my creditors? This is where the money comes from. I am so aware of my spending and I have so few spend days. I've got my goals that I want to meet, and not spending is just the simplest process that I have used to get there. Spending frivolously and not being in control of our money, being stressed out about how you're going to pay your bills every month, that's depriving you of your peace of mind. So I feel like when somebody says you're just going to binge later, you're just missing the point of a no buy's purpose, which is to give you a new view of yourself. It's to propel you into a different way of doing things. So binging later, wouldn't that be the old you? This is not deprivation, you guys. This is freedom. And I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck and paralyzed until I stopped spending. I had to stop spending, and so do you. And this is the part where I used to say your first order of business is to let everyone around you know that you are saving and not spending. Well, this is another point of view that I have recently changed. The old Jen would say, tell your friends, tell your family, shout it from the rooftops. New Jen says, I think that keeping it to yourself and just doing it is actually the better way. I don't care who your circle is, we all have those people. As soon as you tell them that you're going to try and change something that they have already decided in their mind is way too hard and can never be done, here it comes. Why would you do that? You'll never stick to it anyway. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're trying to change too much at once. Are you sure you really want to give that up? Or my personal favorite, just relax. It's not that big of a deal. And there's more reasons that I feel like you should keep it to yourself than just some negative feedback that you might receive. And I did link an article, is in the description below, and it explains in a little more detail why announcing your goals might not always be the best idea. So instead, the new Jen does say, just decide to let your results speak for themselves. And to get results, you will need to, number one, change your routines. If you typically shop at Target or Home Goods on the weekends, don't go there anymore. Go to the park, go for a walk, just change up your routine. Are there people in your life that you tend to spend money with if you're together? Stay away from them. They just aren't aligning with where you are right now. That's all. And you know how you always see those videos on YouTube titled Disappear and Reinvent Yourself? That's why. And you are going to have this want versus need conversation with yourself over and over and over again. Here, let me help you with that part. 99% of the time, it's a want. And lastly, how to deal with live-in family, partner, kids. Maybe the kids threw you off of your no spend, or your partner was just making it way too difficult for you. And you just said, forget it. What am I even doing? So with my husband, he was not interested when I first started this. In his mind, we could pay our bills and we had money left over. So what was I even talking about? The thing is, this isn't about what we can or can't afford today at this moment. This goes way deeper than that. I'm going to spare you my whole awakening on how our minds can be trained to do literally anything we want, maybe another video, but let's see how I can keep this part short. Okay, here we go. I have this favorite saying, and it goes, lead, follow, or get out of the way. You are leading right now, right? You have decided to take on this not so fun task of being the responsible one, and they are all just so ungrateful, right? I know that's how you feel. I sure did. So either they need to get in line and follow you or get out of the way. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. That is a famous saying for a reason, because it's true. Stopping you, discouraging you, hindering you, not cool. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about just don't even announce your intentions. Just do it and focus on what you can control. You can control you. And the bottom line is this: what you are doing can never be construed as wrong. Saving your family from financial ruin can never be misinterpreted as a bad thing. So just keep doing what you know is right. And eventually, it will all start to fall into place. Your partner will start to help you. Your kids will get the message. Just keep going one day at a time. Is it the right decision? Yes. Do you have good intentions? Of course. Will there be progress? It will come. And how about you? Are you going to spend while you're doing this challenge? Absolutely. You are going to have many oopsies doing your no spend challenge. Just refocus and get back to not spending. Don't abandon the entire idea. Just learn from whatever it is and keep going. This is where you're going to see your spending habits in a glaring light. You've put them under a microscope now. That's the only reason you even know that you messed up, because you are paying attention now. The fog has been lifted. So yeah, you will see clearly when you make a mistake. You will also just as clearly see the improvements that you are making too. And this is just step one to all of the financial goals that I know you have. I started with that 30 days, loved the results so much that I did 60. Then my bank statements were so cleaned up and easy to read at that point that I did my very first written budget. And then that written budget gave me the confidence to start the cash method. And all of those things, the cash method, the written budget, and cutting our spending, got us out of mega debt in just under 2 years. One good habit just effortlessly rolled into the next. Now, if you hear me say that and immediately think to yourself, yeah, maybe effortlessly for you, maybe you are someone who just needs a little help in organizing your thoughts. Like, you watched this whole video, you totally listened, but you still feel like, I don't know where to start. I want to do this, I just don't even know what my step one would be. I have the no-buy guide for you. Now, I did show this a little bit in my other no-buy video. I was a little apprehensive about doing that because I knew that I would get some negative comments, and I did get a few, but what I got more of was positive feedback. Those of you that did get the no-buy guide, you downloaded it and you had the time to really check it out and go through it, you guys were messaging me and letting me know how grateful you were that something like this existed to help you get through your no-buy challenge. So I've decided I'm going to prioritize the positive feedback over the negative comments, because in the end, I'm not doing a video on saving money and then showing you a $300 moisturizer to buy. I'm offering something to actually help you save the money. Take it or leave it. The bottom line is, this can be a huge help to you, and it is linked below. I also have a full budgeting packet that is a free download. It is linked below, and it does include a no spend tracker. There's a video that goes along with it and goes through each page and tells you how to use the packet. I have a ton of free resources, and I have a ton of not free resources. Look, 4 years of my life is in this no-buy guide. I think that most people find value in that. I already know what you need to do. I know what you need to be thinking about. I know how to overcome your spending problem. This guide will get you to know. I had one girl in the comments let me know that she could easily whip this up in a Word document, but I have yet to see her version or her budgeting channel with helpful videos on it. So until then, you're stuck with me and my version. I, of course, will be continuing my no-buy challenge. I hope that you will join me in finding freedom for yourself. Quitter's Day is this Friday, January 10th, and it's called Quitter's Day because research shows that many people abandon their resolutions by that day. So if you are with me and you are ready to make this more than just a New Year's resolution, or just another trend that you once tried, comment below, I will not quit. And in the meantime, check out this video where I give you the solution to saving money. Yes, for real. Click it.